tell me what to say.
Hello and welcome to another exciting new episode of Serious Nibbage with B.R.E. Brown and
Gourmet Pens.
Gourmet Pens.
And the cat.
Gourmet Pens. Gourmet Pens. And the cat. Alright.
Now, this is take 2 because we were recording this already, and the cat hops up on the table, walks across the keyboard, and she turned off the recording, and we didn't realize it until, I don't know, 2/3 of the way in.
We're a bit slow in the upchuck, so we just kept
Upchuck
talking
is
and
puking.
talking. Well, I'm slowing that too.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, but so she's happily nested on us,
yes,
and
so
she's nice
now
and content,
we
so...
are content in the fact that we can record this.
Again.
We're talking today about
The OMAS Ogiva Alba.
in purple.
Purple.
She's got it.
I got it. Yo.
And look at the matching purple of the pen and the shirt.
I did that.
Yes. What was your first impression of the pen?
Wait, thank you to OMAS and Luca for sending this
Yes,
pen.
thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, very much. I was really, really excited
Yes.
to check this out. Not just the model, but in particular the nib, which we will get to. Okay, first impressions. OMAS sent it in this awesome box, of course, but it was also gift wrapped with a little ribbon, and there were stickers. It was really cute, and I really enjoyed that. So, the packaging is pretty decent, I would say. It has a felt bed, it's pretty firm, but it also comes with this awesome pen sleeve, which I think is very useful. Now, I like Pelican and all that stuff, but this is way more decent packaging for me. So, wow. Okay, so that's the packaging. But you're not interested in the packaging, you're interested in the pen. Okay, so I pulled out the pen.
Yes.
And it came in the little sleeve, of course. And I was pleased to see quality control before shipment, and there's a signature on it.
That is
and
cool.
There's also a confirmation of what the nib is, as well as the limited edition number, which I will get to. So, that is pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
I think the pen is beautiful. It is a deep purple, but it's translucent, and it's beautifully complemented by this rhodium-plated trim. So I think the color scheme is really attractive. And the nib, you want to show the nib, is an extra fine 14 karat.
Extra flessibile.
I let him say that because I can't say this nicely.
Extra flessibile.
Extra flessibile.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I thought physically the pen was very attractive. So I was quite excited about giving it a go, you see, especially with the
Extra flessibile.
Yeah, I'm just going to say the flex nib.
We're going to call it extra flexible from now on, just for
not being obnoxious. So my first impressions were quite positive, and I find the pen to be very beautiful. How about you?
Well, packaging you've covered very extensively. I think that's very good. It's definitely very nice packaging, very soft, felt lining, etc. It looks really nice. The pen itself, very good first impression. Nice eye for detail, like the little wheel on the clip that we have seen with Monte Grappa pens too. Very nice. I like this meander shape on the center band, the nice ribs.
Type thing?
Yes, that's meander.
Oh, well, not everyone speaks that. Oh, so fancy.
I
I only use other words that no one understands. Okay.
And also a nice flexing, decently sized pen. Very good first impressions.
Yeah.
Now, what makes it special?
What makes it special is that the OMAS Ogiva Alba, which is this, is available in 3 colors. So there's the purple, there is a really beautiful green, and also a stunning orange.
Well, we don't have them.
We don't have them, so we can't show them to you. But they are... I had to pick a color, so I did pick purple.
Purple is very nice, very deep and dark.
It is, and it is a limited. Each color is limited to 327 pieces. So I have number 114, just in case anybody curious, and
which makes it all the more nice of OMAS to send us one.
Yes,
given us a limited edition.
Because they actually parted with one for us dirtbags to. I'm just kidding, we're not dirtbags. For us to review it and share with you guys. But it's also a piston filler, which is really cool. And there are quite a few nib options. So this is the 14 karat extra fine, extra flexible nib, but you can also get 18 karat nibs in fine, medium,
Broad and stub, I think. I'm not sure about
yeah.
extra fine. I'm not sure. Maybe, but I'm not sure. This is the extra fine.
Anyway, this is
Yeah.
the extra fine, baby.
There are a bunch of nib options.
There are a lot of nib options.
18K. This is 14K.
And also they were specifically they decided on a price point which was $4.95 US. So they were thinking, okay, you get a lot of nib options, you get a gold nib, and a piston filler. So for this price, and if you really think about it, you can compare that to other companies and think about where they would price theirs. So I think it is a special pen.
And especially given the prices of some OMAS models, I think it's a very decent price point for the pen you get.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want to talk about your writing experience?
No.
first?
You'll
Okay.
talk about your writing experience.
I'll talk about my writing experience first, because I took possession of the pen first. So I inked it up immediately without flushing it with Kaweco Summer Purple, and I had no issues with writing with it. So it is an extra fine, so it's not going to be like, huge and buttery smooth, like smearing hot butter on a thing. Anyway.
Let's continue doing that. I like that image.
So, and because I'm used to writing with flex pen, so I took it slowly at first until I got the hang of the nib, just to make sure, because I could tell that the nib was very soft. So right away I was like, okay, this is something that I gotta see how far I could push it. So with me, my first writing experience was quite lovely. The flow was really nice. There was a decent amount of line variation, and then someone came home and was like, oh, well, let me try it.
And I sprung it. Straight away, I was flexing it.
With that noise and everything.
Yes.
How come you look so unhappy?
Well, I mean, it's kind of weird that the nib is called extra flexible and it springs as soon as you flex it. I think. But
well, you also have like monster hands, so maybe you just aren't gentle enough. Because I did not spring it. After he sprung it, he realigned it just while it was still in the pen, and there were flow issues, and it kept respringing very easily. Like if I put any pressure on it, the tines would just be a little too far apart for the ink to flow.
In the parlance of our time, it sucked.
So we were like, okay, this is probably not what the nib is supposed to be like, and this is not what it's supposed to be like. Yes. So he took it out. It is an ebonite feed, which is also really
nice.
Great.
Yeah, that is nice.
Because most are plastic feeds
yes.
nowadays, right?
You can heat set it.
Yeah, which is I think a very smart choice of them, especially if they're selling this with extra flex nibs. Yeah. So he realigned the tines and he heat set the feed and put it all back together. And since then, there's been no issues.
Works like a charm.
Thank you, Mr. Cuckfield. It flows well. It writes well. It keeps up well. Of course, you can railroad a flex pen.
And spring it.
And you can spring it. But after someone discovered that it was very easy to spring the nib, he was more gentle with it, but so was I. But
yes,
he was more gentle with it. And there's been no flow issues since then. So the moral of the writing experience tale is, if you get the extra flex nib, at least the extra fine, be very careful.
This is not just our opinion. Other reviewers, FB Geeks, Jelly, also point this out. So it's not just our nib that is excessively soft. Yeah. Be careful if you get the flex nib, because it's not really a flex nib, but a sort of semi-flex play around with nib.
Now, if you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure I want that, just let us keep going.
Yes.
Okay.
What's your writing experience like?
Oh, yeah, that is the writing experience. So,
yes. What do you
so other than the nib, which was confusing at first, but then we fixed it.
We were confused about the nib's identity. Is it flex or not?
It's a really nice sized pen. It's very comfortable, at least for me. Unposted, you can post it.
Pretty big.
It does become a longer pen, but it's not a very heavy cap, so I don't find it particularly top heavy. I just find it too long for wielding while writing. But despite the fact that it was sprung, I was really happy to see that the feed was ebonite and that we could easily fix it.
That's
So I think that was a good move by OMAS. So, what would you want to fill in with your writing experience?
Yeah, my writing experience. Well, I mean, my writing experience was spring and nib. After that, I think it was definitely a very decent performance. It does once we well, pretty much put it back together. It worked a lot better. Nice, and so the nib is definitely nice. It is indeed an extra fine. You will feel some feedback, etc. But an interesting.
But it doesn't scratch into the paper,
No,
right? Because
no,
I didn't have
no,
that issue.
no. But it is a fun nib to play with. The pen itself, I think, is really nice. Somewhat oversized-ish, I would say. Not so much in girth, but more in length. It's not a small pen, which is a lot of fun. Good section. The one thing I will comment on is that the threads are right in the middle of the section. I don't really understand that choice. Because that means that when you hold it, you're going to feel the threads. And
If you have large fingers, because I hold it and I don't feel the threads at all.
what I will say is that they're not super sharp. There's definitely a sharper edge.
But I mean, if you have like a death grip, you're probably feeling that, right?
Yeah.
So
You probably will. And if you really hold it
So-
to the front or a bit more to the back, of course, you're sort of missing them completely.
yeah,
But
I hold in the space in the front. So again, if you have small hands or you have a grip closer to the nib, you probably won't be bothered by it. But
that's my experience. That's what I enjoy about it. What do you-
what do you love about it? What do you
Um,
love about it?
it's purple.
He says that because I'm wearing a purple shirt.
Yes. No, I mean, it's definitely a very interesting concept, a nice idea. It's a piston filler that's nice. One warning about the piston filler, you know, sometimes when a piston filler runs dry, I try to squeeze a drop of ink by turning the piston knob a bit. If you do that with this pen, ink squirts out. Like full speed, it's not a drop, it squirts out. So be a little bit careful of that.
You can also just gently tap the nib on the paper, and that will
Yeah,
draw ink towards the
that
nib
should do it too.
much more easily, which is what I do, like a normal person.
I like the design. I really like the finish of the pen, so that's the things I very much enjoy. How about you?
Well, I really enjoy the nib. So I think once we got the springing issue worked out,
Like that.
that's going to be the springing
Mhm.
nib
They're probably
theme,
doing that all over the world.
I think. Yeah. Once we got that issue worked out, I thought the extra flex of this nib is possibly one of the best modern flex I have used. So that's pretty awesome. I find it with titanium nibs, they are extremely soft and don't give you a lot of feedback. So those are also very easy to spring. At least this one, you do get some feedback before you spring it. It's just if you're not paying attention, you're going to spring it anyway.
What do you hate about it?
Well, I wasn't done.
Oh.
I like that it's a piston filler because you get a decent ink
It's a large ink
Foldage.
capacity. Yeah.
holdage, and I think the pen, like I said at the beginning, the color scheme is beautiful. So the rhodium trim it's a very cool, elegant look, but the purple makes it really fun at the same time. So anyway, that's just me. But of course, my favorite thing is the nib because you know I love flex. So what do I hate about it? Well, I don't really hate anything, but I was a little alarmed that it was so easy to spring it. Because if someone who's never used a flex nib before is like, this looks like a great pen to try out, and they just give her on the nib, they're probably going to pop it and then not know what to do with it. So please warn anyone that you might know that might be buying it to be gentle with the nib until they get the hang of it, just in case. At least with the extra flex nibs, extra flexible nibs. But other than that, there is very little to complain about. I still think the colors are beautiful, and you know, I think it's great that it's a piston filler, and I still really enjoy the nib. So I didn't spring it, just for the record. It wasn't me.
I'll tell you what I don't like about it. I just don't like the nib. I mean, it's a nice concept. It is very soft. It is easy to get flex out, unlike some other pens, say nudeless pens, which have steel nibs that just requires more pressure. You do indeed get a nib here that I would say approximates vintage 14K flex best.
Yeah,
Of all the modern
it's practically a wet noodle.
Marlin Aleph, nudeless pens, other flex pens that I can't come up with right now.
Airmail.
Yeah, maybe some of the Indian pens that have flex nibs. I think this is definitely the softest and most vintage flex-like. However, it's marked extra flexible, and if you really flex it, it springs. It's kind of like buying a car and then asking the salesman, does it run 120 kilometers an hour? And he says yes, and then you go 50, it's fine, 80, it's fine, 120, and then your engine melts. And then you go back and he says, well, you know, you need to always carry a fire extinguisher because when you do 120, I mean, it can do it, but it'll melt immediately. You need to douse it with, you know, some fire extinguisher. This is a nib that says extra flexible.
This is PG.
I know, extra flessibile. But if you use it to its full capacity, it springs. So it's not really extra flexible, it's actually semi-flex. If you treat it as such, there's no problem.
Well, I don't know. We could argue about this because I think if you're using the term flexible, you're talking about its capability of flexing. It is capable of flexing massively.
Yes, except then it springs.
Well,
so I mean, it can
I don't
do
know.
it.
You can pull out some really wicked lines from it. It does flex quite a bit before it springs at the right angle.
Yes,
you have to be careful.
But you're not advised of having to use it under a specific angle.
No, you are
I think
not.
that's the issue.
But that's why we are warning you.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Just saying. This was just some bickering. Now, would you buy it?
Okay, $4.95 US.
Yes.
And because I'm crazy about flex and I'm always looking for flex nibs, I would buy it. I think I want the green or the orange. Why not both?
Flexibility. Anyway.
I would buy it. So
Yeah.
Would you buy it?
No.
Oh,
it's an
fancy.
an interesting pen, but not with its springs design.
But it's fair because it also depends on what your tastes are,
Yes.
right? So
I mean, don't
I
get
love
me wrong.
flex and
Beautiful pen. For
and,
the looks,
and you
I would
love
buy it.
OMAS and
Probably,
you have another OMAS.
I have an OMAS 360 that I love that has an 18K fine on it, which I love. One of the few fine nibs that I absolutely adore. Maybe I should get this. If I would buy it, I would, based on this experience, probably get it an 18K broad or maybe a stub. And then I expect no issues whatsoever because the model is beautiful, large ink capacity, great pen. It's just this particular nib.
But I'm really glad we got this nib so we
Yes.
could give you guys a warning to be careful with it.
And okay, I mean, I'm not trying to bash on the pen or the nib or anything.
No, the thing is though, if you write at a high angle to the page like this, it's going to spring very easily, which is what you do. I write at a low angle, so which is probably why I didn't spring it. So it just takes it better, if that makes sense. So that's just something to be aware of.
Take it like a nib.
Take it like a nib. Now, the real question.
Or is it not? Serious nibbage.
You were so unswift.
Yes, I got stuck.
Look, we actually disagree on something.
Yes, how about that?
Well, the nice thing is that means I get to keep it. I don't have to share
This is correct.
Can I have your Visconti?
No.
Okay.
We hope you enjoyed.
No, thank you. A huge thank you to OMAS because this is the first extra flexible nib that I've got to use, and
Mine too.
I thoroughly enjoy it. So
I thoroughly enjoy it too.
and again, I'm glad that we can put out another warning to people to be gentle with the nib because I think it's a beautiful pen. And
Wonderful pen.
I think the flex capabilities are pretty decent. It is very soft, so you can have a lot of fun with it. Just be careful.
Definitely. Just be careful. Be careful.
Plus, you can always get the green one as a gift for Christmas. But hurry up because it's a limited edition. So.
The moral of this story, always practice safe flex. Now, I hope that was useful, and
thank you again. We will see you later.
Probably.
Yeah.
Bye!
Bye! Oh! Bye!
She was not impressed.
I'm ready. Oh. You never tell me.